Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the life, the career, and honestly, the absolute genius of the late Emma Chambers. If you've spent any time watching British TV or 90s rom-coms, you know her face. And more than that, you know her brilliant comedic timing. We're going to explore her unparalleled mastery of the quirky, scene-stealing, supporting character. We'll look at how she built her craft, her iconic roles as Alice Tinker and Honey Thacker, and the incredible legacy she left behind. So let's just get right into it. Emma Chambers actually summarized her own genius perfectly. She once said, "Just like Alice, I am vulnerable, emotional, and caring, but I am not thick. I am a cynical old bitch." I mean, how brilliant is that? It's this hilarious, incredibly self-aware insight that totally contrasts her real-life razor-sharp intelligence with those gorgeously naive, slightly dim-witted characters she was so famous for playing. It takes a genuinely brilliant actor to play someone clueless that convincingly, and Chambers, she hit the nail on the head every single time. Section 1, Forging a Theatrical Foundation. Before she was stealing scenes all over the world, she was actually building a really solid foundation from a young age, back in Doncaster. Born in South Yorkshire in 1964 to a consultant obstetrician father, she attended St. Swithin's boarding school, where she was actually quite the athlete, playing county lacrosse. But the acting bug, it bit her early. Emma Chambers didn't just become an overnight TV sensation. No way. She trained at the prestigious Webber Douglas Academy in London, right alongside future TV star Ross Kemp, actually. And then she spent over 10 years grinding and really perfecting her craft in the theater before ever getting a major TV break. Critics absolutely loved her. They praised her for this incredible ability to convey kaleidoscopic emotional states with startling immediacy. She starred in huge productions, things like Moliere's Tartuffe and Alan Ayckbourn's Invisible Friends. In fact, when casting the comedy henceforward, Ayckbourn literally wrote that he wanted not a child, please, just a very small actress. Chambers got the part. She played the estranged daughter of a composer, played by none other than Ian McKellen. And she actually lodged with McKellen during this time, later calling the legendary actor a sort of father figure to her. Now here's a really fun piece of trivia. A knack for spotting star power clearly ran in the family. Her sister, Sarah Dukas, along with her brother Simon, ran Storm Model Management. If that name rings a bell, well, it's because that is the exact agency that famously discovered supermodel Kate Moss when she was just 14 years old. So yeah, an immense amount of talent and industry savvy was just baked right into the Chambers family. Section 2, Alice Tinker, Dibley's Heart. Everything changed for her on-screen career in 1994. That's when she landed her massive, career-defining break. If you know British television, you know The Vicar of Dibley, and you definitely know that legendary post-credits joke routine. At the end of every single episode, the vicar, played by Dawn French, would tell Alice a joke over a mug of tea. And without fail, Alice would completely miss the punchline. She'd take the joke entirely literally. The vicar asks what you call a budgie run over by a lawnmower, right? The answer is supposed to be shredded tweet. But instead of laughing, Alice just goes on this heartbreaking existential tangent about how the poor fictional budgie never got to see the sun or ask for its caudal fizz. Chambers' literal-minded delivery and just flawless comedic timing turned what could have been a super simple gag into an absolute masterclass in character comedy. But Alice was so much more than just a punchline. She was the absolute heart and soul of Dibley. She was the most fiercely loyal friend to Vicar Geraldine Granger, and we all remember when she finally found true love, marrying her equally half-witted second cousin once removed, Hugo Horton. That wedding was pure, chaotic magic. I mean, the bridal attendants were dressed head to toe as Teletubbies, and in a moment of just genuine sweetness, when she gave birth to a baby on Christmas Eve after playing Mary in the village nativity, she named the child Geraldine, after her best friend. Yes, Alice constantly drove the vicar to distraction with her terrible advice, but without her, the village of Dibley simply wouldn't have had a pulse. Her career just exploded during this golden era. 1994 was massive. Not only did The Vicar of Dibley kick off, but in that exact same week, she debuted as Charity Pecksniff in a 6-part BBC adaptation of Charles Dickens's Martin Chuzzlewit. Fast forward to 1998, and her brilliant work as Alice Tinker earns her the prestigious British Comedy Award for Best Actress. That incredible momentum launched her right into 1999, where she stepped off the British television sets and straight into a massive global Hollywood blockbuster. Section 3, Honey Thacker, Eccentricity Perfected. Which brings us, of course, to her absolutely unforgettable turn in the 1999 romantic comedy smash hit, Notting Hill. It's actually really fascinating to compare her two most famous characters side by side. On one hand, you've got Alice Tinker. deeply sheltered, incredibly literal-minded, living this small, quiet life in a rural village. And then on the other hand, you have Honey Thacker, chaotic, loud, this starstruck romantic living in London, desperately looking for love, and completely devoid of any social filter whatsoever. Both roles required a very specific kind of eccentricity, but Chambers made them entirely distinct, fully realized human beings. In a movie absolutely packed with massive Hollywood A-listers, Emma Chambers was the ultimate scene stealer. Her hilarious, self-deprecating monologue where Honey explains exactly why she'll never find a partner, citing her feathers, her goggly eyes, and her shrinking boozies, it's delivered with such rapid-fire, earnest desperation that you just can't help but roar with laughter. She completely anchored that famous dinner party scene, literally stealing it right out from under Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts. And oh my gosh, who could ever forget this moment? Honey is so starstruck by the famous actress Anna Scott, played by Julia Roberts, that she accidentally follows her right into the bathroom. And while in there, she aggressively pitches a best friendship to this Hollywood megastar. She just blurts out, "I absolutely and totally and utterly adore you, and I genuinely believe we can be best friends." It is easily one of the most cringe-inducing yet unbelievably endearing moments in the entire film. Only Emma Chambers could have pulled that off with such genuine sweetness. Section 4. An enduring comedy legacy. Now, let's shift gears a bit to reflect on her life off-screen, her later roles, and her lasting impact. Off-screen, Chambers actually lived a pretty quiet life in Hampshire with her husband, actor Ian Dunn. Following all those massive 90s successes, she continued to work steadily in television. She had these really great supporting roles like Helen Yardley in the sitcom How Do You Want Me and Martha Thompson in the drama Take a Girl Like You. She even did voice work, voicing the character Spotty in the kids' animated series Little Robots. But okay, here is a truly surprising personal contrast. Despite so frequently playing these rural, country-dwelling characters surrounded by farm life, Emma Chambers privately battled severe asthma and acute allergies to most animals. Talk about acting chops, right? She always looked perfectly at home in a muddy sheep paddock, completely hiding the fact that she was probably highly allergic to it all. Tragically, the world lost Emma Chambers far, far too soon. In 2018, at the age of just 53, she passed away unexpectedly from natural causes, widely suspected to be a sudden heart attack. The news absolutely sent shockwaves through the British entertainment industry. Tributes just poured in from her co-stars. They remembered her not just for her immense talent, but for her warmth, her joy, and the endless, endless laughter she brought to every single set she walked onto. But her legacy, it is absolutely cemented in modern culture. In fact, just recently, the Royal Mail issued a set of 12 special stamps celebrating the Vicar of Dibley. And right there on the first-class stamps, immortalized for history, is Emma Chambers as Alice Tinker, jumping into puddles and sitting in the vestry listening to the vicar's jokes. Her face and that pure joy it represents continues to circulate all across the country. So, what does this all mean for us today? It leaves us with this final, provocative thought. We so often celebrate the leading actors, the names at the very top of the poster. But is the true magic of comedy found not in the lead, but in the eccentric scene stealer? Emma Chambers proved time and time again that the supporting roles, the ones that pop in, deliver a perfectly timed line of absolute absurdity, and leave you in stitches, they often leave the most unforgettable legacy of all. She was vulnerable, she was emotional, she was gorgeously naive on screen, and she was an absolute, undisputed master of her craft. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you a deeper appreciation for the wonderful, one-of-a-kind Emma Chambers.